Communists in Southeast Asia get a quick measure of American reaction to overt aggression. Viet-Cong guerrillas leave wreckage, suffering, and death in the wake of coordinated sneak attacks on 3 U.S. installations in South Vietnam. Attacks Washington regards as the most serious test of wills since the Gulf of Tonkin attack last August. A failure to respond would be taken as a sign of weakness or defeatism. Mortar and infantry assaults in the dark of night leave barracks as well as helicopters and light aircraft in rubble. There is clear, though secret, evidence that the raids were planned with the active support of North Vietnam. 126 Americans are wounded, 79 seriously, and 8 are killed. America's retaliation is explained by Defense Secretary Robert McNamara at a Pentagon news conference. First, he discusses the guerrilla attacks on the bases he locates on the map. Then he briefs reporters on White House action taken the night before this news conference.
Immediately following the attack, U.S. representatives in Saigon met with representatives of the South Vietnamese government. They jointly agreed that joint retaliatory action was required. The President's approval of this action was given after the action was discussed with and recommended by the National Security Council at a meeting held between 7:45 p.m. and 9 p.m. last night.
The retaliatory action consists of 49 sorties by planes from bases and 3 American carriers into North Vietnam. They hit Dong Hoi, a chief staging area for infiltrators. This first strike is followed up next day by another, which President Johnson hopes will be the last. But there is no guarantee that it will be if the communists start up again. These raids are intended as a message to Hanoi and other communist capitals not to miscalculate United States intentions to protect freedom. There is no intention to spread the war. At the same time, there are limits to the patience with which this country will take provocation without responding to it. The second day's attacks against the North Vietnamese are made by South Vietnam troops in non-jet planes. They are against other staging areas just north of the border, which had been missed on the original sorties because of heavy clouds. Escorted by 4 American jet bombers, they accomplish 70% destruction of their targets. In another move, a detachment of Hawk surface-to-air guided missiles is dispatched to South Vietnam. They have a range of 22 miles. The Viet-Cong aggression was quite probably timed to coincide with the visit in South Vietnam of Special Presidential Assistant McGeorge Bundy, as well as with that of Soviet Premier Kosygin in Hanoi. Mr. Bundy accompanies South Vietnam Commanding General Khanh on an inspection of the damaged American installation. Mr. Bundy also visits wounded Americans in the hospital. U.S. military and civilian dependents in this country, who number over 1,800, are to be flown out. Many wives want to stay in nearby lands to be near their husbands, but only civilians have this choice. Military families have to return to the States. Mr. Bundy, too, returns to the States to give the President, and then right afterwards the country, a first-hand report on conditions in South Vietnam. He speaks to the press optimistically of the basic patriotism of the Buddhist and other factions that have been so bitterly feuding with one another.
We had an opportunity to talk frankly and freely with them. They again emphasized the overriding importance in South Vietnam of the contest against the communists. They emphasized, as the political leaders had done, the importance and their own dedication to, the importance of and their dedication to the task of forming a stable and effective political society under a stable and effective government in that country, a view which, of course, we share. And I think it's fair to say that the Americans in Vietnam are in very good heart and are prepared to continue even against this kind of danger and this kind of sneak attack. Let me say one more thing about that sneak attack, that in a war of this kind, in which there are no fixed lines, in which there are large territories that are lightly inhabited and that are essentially jungle and mountainous in character, I know no military man who believes that with without an overwhelming assignment of local defense forces, it is possible to guarantee against this kind of sneak attack. This is the sort of thing, and all Americans in the area know it, with which we simply have to contend while we prosecute in company with the government and people of South Vietnam a contest against communism, which is of the highest importance to our national interest.